Living on the Edge, another Saturday where we come together and help people just like you to use 3 keys: faith, fire, and focus. What do we do?
Helping people unpack abundant life.
Where we use faith, fire, and focus to help people just like you to unpack that abundant life that I know that we all so desperately want and need. So check it out. Yesterday, my wife and I, we had this Q&A session, and the Q&A session went really, really well. You can check out the Q&A session. We'll put a link below, or you can, we'll put a link on here so you can check it out. But one of the things and topics that kind of came towards the end of the Q&A, which we didn't have time to dive into yesterday, was about
the dirty laundry.
The dirty laundry.
Yep, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about race.
And we're going to bring out all the dirty laundry today.
That's right.
So today we're going to look at 5 misconceptions of interracial marriages. Now you think you know, but you have no idea. Misconception number 1.
Number 1.
We've always dated outside of our race. And we've gotten so comfortable doing it. That's what we always have done. The truth of the matter is,
au contraire, mon frère.
We haven't always dated outside of our race. We just happened to find somebody that we really connected with and that we ultimately fell in love with. And we said, you know what? That's the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. See, our story might not be like your story. Our story is probably a little different. But I remember when I was, how old was I? 15, 14? 15 years old. All I was trying to do was go hang out with my friends. See, where I'm from, they have these teen nightclubs. So we were just going out to have a good time, me and my football buddies. And while we were there, this girl right here, she happened to be doing her little dance. It looked like this. Well, kind of like that. So she was dancing, and in fact, I'm going to tell you the real story. She was dancing with another guy. And when I saw her dancing with another guy, I said, no, that's not happening, because I want to dance with that girl right there. So literally, I built up the courage because I had all my friends around me, and I just bumped little buddy out of the way, and I looked at her, and here's the game. This is what I said. I know you didn't want to dance with him. I could tell by the face that you were making. So literally from that moment on, we danced together the entire rest of the night. I left and didn't even get her phone number. She didn't get my phone number. But coincidentally, I knew one of her common friends. She knew one of my common friends. And we started talking on the phone. And the rest is history. It's not like anything major, anything scary, anything spooky. I wasn't necessarily searching for her, and I'm sure she wasn't searching for me. It just happened. And you know what? I'm glad that it did.
Number 2. We are together for some other reason besides love. What's love got to do with it?
What's love got to do? Okay, I'll stop.
So not true. It's all because of love. There wasn't any kind of hidden agenda. We weren't seeking someone necessarily of another race. It just happened that way. We're together because we truly love each other. We pursued a relationship with each other. People stay in relationships because they have commonalities and also because they have differences in each other that they completely appreciate. Yeah. There were things that I absolutely was attracted to in him, and it really didn't have anything to do with his color. Contrary to what you might think, when I was a little girl, I didn't dream of the knight in shining armor being any one particular color. It wasn't like I grew up thinking, oh, I'm going to date a black guy someday. In fact, I don't think that thought ever occurred to me. No, I wanted to be with someone who I loved, who cared for me, and he cared for me. And I cared for him. And that's the bottom line. It's all about love. It's not about any other ulterior motive.
So you mean it's not because I'm fine? Debonair?
Well, that helps.
Awesome. Number 3. All right, let me go ahead and address this and hit it head on. I can't speak for everybody, but I do not hate black women. Do you hate white men?
I don't hate white men. My dad is a white guy, and I like him a lot. In fact, I love him. Shout out, Dad. I love you. I love you, man.
My mama birthed me, and she's black. And I love my mama. I got a sister, and guess what? She's black too. I have a whole bunch of aunts. I have a whole bunch of cousins. I got some grandparents. Guess what? They're black too. Listen, contrary to popular belief, just because you're in an interracial marriage does not mean that you hate your race. I do not hate black people. I do not hate black women. In fact, I love them.
And let me just stop him right there. I want to tell you something. I'm not with a black man because I want to be black. Because I want to talk black, dress black, act black, whatever that's supposed to mean. That has nothing to do with it. I'm not rebelling against my race. I'm not trying to make some political or social statement. I love him because when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing.
Oh, you went there, didn't you?
I went there. I said it.
Number 4. Let's do that again.
Okay. Number 4. Quattro. Your friends and your family don't see race as an issue. They accept the relationship just the way that it is. Not so. There are some people in our family that at first, when we first got together, that they operated out of stereotypes. Really felt like I had made some really bad choices and decisions, all because the only thing they looked at was not the relationship, but this. The color of our skin. So our families didn't accept it. Even though we grew up allegedly colorblind and parents told us to treat all people as equals, some family members have more issues than others. Some things were said and sometimes they weren't easy to swallow. So it's not like our families always necessarily accepted it.
The one good thing that we had going for us was that we both had immediate families who loved us. Regardless of whether they always agreed with us, they loved us. My parents, from day one, they didn't look at Carrie's skin. They just said, okay, great, son, if you love her, we love her. And that was all that mattered, and you come on in because you're part of this family. And I felt the same way even with your mom and your dad. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to come in and be welcome into the household. I remember the first time I went in the house, I think I was scared to go in. I didn't know what to expect. But at the end of the day, it was what it was, and they accepted me, and I think my parents and my family accepted you also. So much to the point that I'll never forget my senior day, my senior year of college. Her dad actually walked out onto the football field with my mom for senior day, right? So
Talk about confusing.
I know people are like, what's really going on here? But my dad was actually in a championship football game, and I told my dad, I said, no, you go, you be with your players. You all have worked really hard. It's fine. You've come to every one of my games. It's perfectly okay. So I asked her dad to join me and walk out on the field with me. And I think he still has that hat to this day.
I'm sure he does. But you know what? In all honesty, it wasn't always like that, because unfortunately, because not all families are accepting, there has to be the talk. And I can remember, thinking, why does there have to be this talk? Like, I'm not dating like an alien or a terrorist or, a two-headed man or anything. Well, maybe that's not a good example. I'm not dating, someone who's a criminal or anything like out of the norm that I should have to have the talk with my parents. But I can remember the anxiety and the buildup for having to share. So people who think that it's just accepted and it's just like you decided to date whomever you decided to date, and because they were your same race, you just rolled on with it, that's not always the case. There usually is the race talk, that I want to date someone outside of my race.
Number 5. All right, listen, this is the last one we're going to talk about today, but this is a big one, right? I've heard this said before, and I want to dispel the myth. I've heard it said before that, we are married And once we got married, people would say things like, well, when you have children, the children are going to be confused. Well, they're not going to know if they're black or white. Well, let me give you a newsflash, first of all. The children are not black or white. They're biracial, which means they are of two races, right? I happen to be black or African American, however you want to say it today. And my wife is white or Caucasian, however you want to say it, right? So at the end of the day, our children are biracial. And guess what? We raise them as such. We raise them as biracial children, which means they have an understanding of their African American history and heritage. They also have an understanding of their Caucasian and white heritage and history. And my children don't know any different because you might not believe this, but they've always been biracial.
Yeah.
All of their life,
they were born
they
that
were
way.
Biracial. So, contrary to popular belief, for the children, they're growing up and they're just fine. They're not confused.
Furthermore, you don't have to worry about how society is going to treat them, because regardless if they're biracial, if they're white, they're black, if they're blonde-haired, if they're blue-eyed, if they're brown-haired, the world is not kind if you haven't noticed. And so it's parents' responsibility, regardless of the race of their child, regardless of whatever hand life has dealt them, to prepare them for the world. So stop worrying about the children. Children are a blessing from God. They're not some strange little beings that don't function properly in the world or don't know how to operate in the world.
So that's all we got for you, because we didn't want to bring in all the laundry today. We just wanted to bring out a little bit of the laundry because we are definitely going there on this episode of Living on the Edge. So listen, if you found value in anything that we spoke about today, do me a favor. Go ahead, click the subscribe button below or click the like button. And listen, I'm speaking to you right now. Share this out. There is somebody right now who needs to understand what's going on. There's probably even a couple, maybe even an interracial couple who just got married right now, and they're asking themselves these questions. So make sure you get this out to people so that, again, we can help you unclutter that life and unclutter that mind. That's all we got for you today. We out. Peace.